Hi and welcome, it's Barbara from Vienna, Austria, and I'm very excited to share my latest digital collage club design project with you, which is this little journal. I will go into what the digital collab club has to offer in a minute, but I wanted to show you the end result first. So this is a little Alice in Wonderland journal, and it's 6.5 by 4 3/8, and it's made from scratch. And it also has a no sewing binding, which is really easy to make and holds up really well. So I will show you how to construct it, and I will also include all the mistakes I made so that you don't have to repeat them. You can make your own mistakes, find new ones. And I'll also be showing you a complete flip through at the end. And there's also a little surprise at the end. There's a little giveaway that I wanted to share with you. So stay tuned for that as well. I'll just give you a quick peek into it now. I won't do a complete flip through, but just so you have an idea what we're going to be doing. This is it. So let's go into how I constructed it. But first, let me tell you a little bit more about the Digital Collage Club and these Alice in Wonderland kits that Tina has. So the Digital Collage Club is a membership-based website with thousands of royalty-free digital collage sheets, vintage graphics, scrapbooking, card making, and digital craft supplies. You get instant access, and all images are created especially for this club. Each week, new images are added. There are no download limitations, and you can sell whatever craft items you create with these images. You can get either an annual or a lifetime access, and I really think it's a good deal because buying all the single digitals from other platforms is quite pricey over a year. So with the link below in the description box and the coupon codes, you get a $5 discount for the annual membership and a 10% discount for the lifetime membership. So for this journal, I have used some of the Alice in Wonderland images, like the kit that you just saw there. And there are 5 pages of various Alice in Wonderland themed images. And there is such a huge variety and styles and types of ephemera to choose from that I'm sure there is something for everyone's taste. So these are the images that I chose for the journal, and I've printed these out on coffee dyed copy paper. So obviously if you print them on regular paper that is not dyed, you will get much brighter images, but I wanted this vintage look. So these are all printed at 100%, and they are various kits of the Alice in Wonderland theme. And this kit now is from the journaling kit that I'm going to use. And so these are full pages. Okay, so we're going to start off with the base of the book. So I cut some cardboard or chipboard, I don't know what you want to call it. So this is from a cover of a book And these are the dimensions of the front and back cover in inches and centimeters. So I cut out 2 of those, and then for the spine, these are the dimensions. So once you have that, you'll need something to cover your book with, or to cover your panels with, and I chose this paper from the Tim Holtz Memoranda paper stack. I will have this and all other supplies that I use that I can link down in the description box for you. And this is the size that I've cut it down to cover my book, and I'm using the 3-in-1 glue to glue on all the panels down, leaving an edge around for us to bend over the panels. And I'm leaving a gap of maybe 1/8 of an inch in between the parts to make it easier to bend later on. And I must say, this is my first time ever making a journal in this style, so I am making a few mistakes. So I hope you will learn from these and not make the same mistakes. You can make your own mistakes. You don't have to repeat mine. Alright, so once I had everything down, I burnished it all. And then I went around the edges to score them a little bit to make the folding up of the cardstock a little bit easier. And then I cut off the corners. And this is my first mistake that I make. So I seem to have cut them too close to the panels, and you will see what the result of that is. So now I'm gently folding the paper in using my bone folder there to help me out a little bit. And then I decided to use this tape roller to glue down these bits, just because I didn't want any tape squishing out. And so I did that on all 4 sides, and I'm not a huge fan of using these tape rollers, I must say, just because I think I'm not very good using them. I prefer kind of the liquid ones, just because I feel like I have a little bit more control over how they actually adhere. So then I am making some score lines where those folds are to help it fold, and I'm very gently folding my book. So that's going to be the back side. I didn't know it yet, I think. I wasn't sure yet what was going to be the back side, but yeah, this is going to be the front, and it's going to be covered with one of the images. All right, looking good so far, right? All right, then and then I distressed it with my Vintage Photo Distress Oxide. I wanted to have all the edges distressed for a more vintage look. So that is what that looked like afterwards. Really like that. And then here you see what I'm talking about. So you see these little gaps. So if I wouldn't have cut it that close, I don't think I would have had those gaps. So be sure to leave a little bit of space when you cut those corners. And then I also cut these 2 panels for the inside, and those were going to cover the open gaps on the corners. So I'm again gluing those down with my 3-in-1 glue, and I just measured those to be pretty much exactly the same size of the panels of the covers, because I wanted to make sure that they would cover from corner to corner. And these are again from the Memoranda paper stack from the Tim Holtz. So that's what that looks like now. So now you can't even tell that that was an issue. So that was fine. Next, this is the size that I used to cover the inside spine. So I made it a little bit bigger, or a little bit wider, I should say. So I'm going to glue that down as well. Making sure to go over those creases again to help it bend. So looking good, liking that. And I had let it dry completely. And once it was dried, look what happened. It completely cracked. So we needed another solution. So I took some Tyvek envelopes. So if you don't know this, these are the envelopes that are sometimes used by like express deliveries, UPS maybe, or DHL, or all these companies. And these are basically not tearable. You can cut them, but you can't really tear them. So they're perfect for spines. And I am going over this with some tea dioxide, which is completely useless because I will be covering that up anyway. So I'm gluing that on, and I cut it a little bit less wide than the cardstock that I put over the spine. And I'm again gluing it down with my 3-in-1 glue, burnishing it everywhere. And now I'm sure that that will not come apart because that will hold forever. And then I'm going to cover this with some coffee dyed paper. So I'm measuring that to be pretty much the same size as the cardstock that I put on first. And I'm going to glue this over. So this was really like learning by doing this project. I really learned a lot from making this book. And hopefully I won't make the same mistakes again next time. All right, so once that was dry, look, it cracked again. What an interesting process. So that's not a good idea either. So instead I decided to use some fabric. So I knew this was not going to crack. So I'm again using my 3-in-1 glue, and I'm going to put this over everything. So we now have 4 layers on this spine, which is fine. I think this is really going to hold up well now with the fabric. All right, so that's what that looks like. And I let the fabric peek out a little bit on the top and bottom just because I like that look. And look, it cracked on the outside too. Oh wow, this isn't going so well, is it? I don't know if you've had similar experiences. So what do? I add some fabric on the outside spine as well to cover that up. Which is fine because I ended up really liking the look of that anyway, so not a problem. Alright, so that's what it ended up looking like, the spine, and I actually really enjoy how that came out. So once everything was dry, I made sure that there were no other cracks anywhere. And I also wanted to use some of my lace ribbon here. It has an adhesive on the back, but I wanted to make sure that it really sticks, so I added the 3-in-1 glue as well, and I added that both to the front and the back. It just gives it a more finished look, I believe. So doing the same thing on the back side. And it also helps to make sure that those pieces don't come off on the edges, so that kind of like seals everything down. And this is the image that I decided to use for the front. So I printed this at 45%. And it's one of the wall prints. And I think it's so cute. I just inked up the edges. And this one I printed on some white 200 GSM cardstock. And look, it has journal there on this encyclopedia page or dictionary page that Tina had chosen for this image. And again, I'm going to glue that down with 3-in-1 glue, trying to kind of center that, not going over the lace. All right, so that's the cover. I'm very happy with that. And now we're going to move on to the inside. And we're going to do the same thing what we did on the outside, but I'm using a different lace ribbon here. And I'm again going to, I'm measuring 2 of those, of course, and I'm going to glue those to either side of the spine where the fabric ends to again give it this more finished look and to make sure that the ends don't come off. So now I've prepared all the pages for the signatures that I wanted to include. So I cut all of those from the Digital Collage Club. And you could also print them 2-sided, but I decided I only wanted them 1-sided because I did want some blank pages as well. So I've cut them all out, I folded them. And I also have this paper, which is from a letter set that I coffee dyed. And then I have some plain coffee dyed papers. And here I have just some fun bits that I wanted to include as well. So here's a paper bag. This is just a random paper. And some of these papers are actually from the Sora Ahsan studio where I got my bento stationery box from. This one as well. I ended up actually not using that. I took that out again. There's just little bits, and these are actually, all of these are from, pretty much all of these are from that paper bag. I ended up taking these out again as well. And this last one there, the red one, is from the Your Creative Studio box. So now I put everything there and I decided to make 9 signatures. So why did I make 9 signatures? Because I think I had 9 of these printed full-sized pages. And so I'm putting together the signatures now, and I think I'm putting three elements per signature. So I'm just gonna assemble all my signatures now. All right, once I had those, that's what that looked like, and I wanted to see how they would fit, and it looked like it was going to be a good fit for that size of spine. So next we're going to do this fun binding method. So I'm not sure what it's called. So I measured, to start off with, the length of the entire book to leave at the end, and I'm just clipping that down You don't have to do that, but I just thought it would be easier. And now all I'm doing is I'm wrapping it around as many times as signatures I want to include. So I'm just wrapping it around and around. So since I have 9 signatures, I'm wrapping this around 9 times. And I'm doing this quite firmly. And I'm trying to also kind of space them more or less evenly. If they're not completely even, it's not such a big deal because you can move them a little bit once you've got those. So there we have the 9, and then I'm turning it to the outside. So I have my end, I have one of the ends on one side of the book and I have the other end on the other. So they're coming out of opposite sides of the spine. And here I'm just trying to space them a little bit more evenly. And now what I'm doing is I'm pulling through the one end through all of those times I've wrapped it around, and then the other one I'm pulling through from the other side. So they are coming out now at opposite sides of those strings. And then I am going to tie a double knot in the middle by just gathering all those together with my knot. Making a double knot, making sure that's tight. And then I'm going to make a bow. And then I'm just going to snip off the ends. And that's the binding. I think it looks really cute. And it's like the simplest binding ever. And I love it. And now on the inside you see, so after I've spaced them all out equally, that's what it looked like. And now all we have to do is insert our signatures. So I am just pulling each one through one of those strings. And you could of course add more papers if you want. And yeah, you just pull them all through. And I was really impressed with how well they hold up. And they are evenly spaced, and I am really enjoying the result. I will definitely be doing this easy technique again. So this is the last signature. And this is really great. So here you see everything is very evenly spaced. I just love this. And they are definitely tighter than when I did the other no-sew method that I've used in my previous books. And then I wanted to add this sari silk ribbon. This store that you see here, the Good Karma Llama, no longer exists, or they don't sell at the moment anyway, so I can't link that. So I have these 2 colors, and I chose these 2 because they are the colors that Alice has on her dress. So I'm just tying a bow around the other bow that we made. And while this looks very cute, it's not practical, and you'll see at the flip through at the end that I decide to change that. But it looks really cute, I must say. Okay, so now it was time to decorate some of the pages. Yeah, and I'm taking it off again to do that so that it lays flat. So I've cut out all the ephemera that I printed. So there's journaling cards, there's tags, there's little journaling cards, tickets, more journaling cards, and I printed this all also on coffee dyed regular copy paper. So I wanted to start decorating these pages by using these elements, and I will just show you a few things that I did just to maybe help you with, or to inspire you if you're new to this and you don't really know how to use these. So out of this one I'm making a pocket, and I should have thought of that before, but then I decided to punch a half circle on top there to make it more obvious that it's a pocket. And of course you can journal in the front. Then this one I'm again making into a pocket, but a side pocket this time. And I'm looking for a page to add that to. So again, of course, I'm distressing it first with my vintage photo. And then I'm going to just glue around 3 sides and stick that down. So these are some of the tickets, and I wanted to show you these little half circles that I cut out. I did with my hole punch. So that's a easy trick if you want these circles and you don't want to bother doing them by hand. It really works well with a hole punch like this. So I'm going to use 2 of these tickets, and I'm gluing them onto another strip of coffee dyed paper, and I'm going to make this into a belly band. So I am choosing a page to just glue that on, glue the top and the bottom, and that becomes your belly band. Very, very easy. Yeah, this one I end up taking out. I didn't like that in the book. So this is one of the journaling cards. And it was too wide for my pages and I didn't want to turn it. So I decided to fold it and then glue just the one half, and so that it would flip out and open up that way. Here I'm just using my glue stick. Doesn't really matter, whatever you have on hand. And then I'm going to glue that other ticket that I had left over for decoration on that. Next I have this coffee dyed doily that I wanted to make into a tuck spot, so that I am folding that around a page. And I'm just going to apply some glue to where the fold is. On both sides, so that both sides become tuck spots. And then there's this tag with a crown, and I decided I just wanted the crown, so I'm fussy cutting the crown. And after inking that up, I'm gluing that as a decoration for our tuck spot. And I'm adding the print of this journaling card to the tuck spot. Then this is a coffee dyed envelope, And since this is too big for our journal, I'm going to cut this in two parts unevenly. So this is the smaller one, and I wanted to keep the flap, so I wanted to make sure that it's the same on both sides. So I'm just folding it to be able to cut the same shape on the other side of the flap. Then I'm taking off this sticky part and I'm rubbing over it with a white leftover piece of candle to get rid of the stickiness. I think this works really well. And now I'm just going to glue that side shut so it becomes a pocket. Going to ink up all the edges. And here I'm choosing one of the images to go on the front of this pocket. And I take that one. And I'm going to, after inking him up, I'm going to glue him down. And just to add a little bit more interest, I'm also going to add some Tim Holtz washi, one of my favorite ones, this graph paper looking one. Just adding some glue stick to make sure it holds up well, because the washi doesn't hold for a long time. Alright, so there's our little pocket. And I'm gonna put him there. So now we have the other side of the pocket, of the envelope left over, and then I'm again taking off the sticky thing, rubbing it with my candle. I'm again going to cut the flap so that's equal on both sides. And I'm going to glue down the open edge that I cut. I wanted to stamp something on the front, so this is another stamp set that I will try to link. It's also from Ali. And I have a phrase here that I'm going to stamp. And it says, there's a place like no place on earth, a land full of enchantment, wonder, and mystery. And since we have a window on this envelope, I wanted to put something in the window. So I was looking at these large tags, and I go for this caterpillar who's smoking a water pipe there. And so I wanted him to peek through there, so what I did is I glued him into the envelope. And then I realized the envelope was too big for my pages, and I should have checked that before I continued working on it. But it's no big deal. I'm marking how the width has to be, and I just cut it again. And I inked it up again, glued it down again. So always a good idea to check beforehand. Alright, next I have this little printout, and I am gluing him onto my 200 GSM marbled cardstock. Then I'm cutting this out. And I wanted to add it to this coffee dyed Rolodex card, but I wanted some of the image to be peeking out, so I decided to cut this and I'm fussy cutting the characters, just the top actually, because I wanted those to stick out from the Rolodex card. So ink those up and then glued them on top of that. And this will become another pocket. So gluing that down on the sides and the bottom. And adding this little journaling spot inside. Then I decided to make a little pocket out of this piece, so I again punched a half circle in the middle, and after inking that, I'm going to glue the top and the bottom and the side. Then I also printed these bookmarks on 200 GSM paper, and I printed these at 80%. And I'm going to glue them on my beige cardstock, and I'm going to glue one on the front and one on the back. And I'm topping it off with some fabric there, fraying the edges a little bit, and then just using my 3-in-1 glue to glue that on the top. And I'm going to make a little pocket out of this piece in the middle of the signature, so I am just closing that up and then again punching a half circle on the top, and that is going to be our place for the bookmark. And then I'm using some parts of this Alice in Wonderland book that I bought. It's from Lewis Carroll, and I really like the images in this book, and I like the big font. I will try to link this book down below as well, because I do use quite a lot in the end of this. And here I'm looking for an image that I can put in that belly band, and I wanted to use this caterpillar. And I bought this book especially for tearing it up and for using it in a junk journal, so I'm not reluctant to tear that book up. It's not vintage or anything either. So here I'm gluing two on top of each other after tearing them with the tearing ruler to make it more sturdy. I'm inking up the edges. So that's one side, and on the other side I wanted to include this image here from the club, which is again a caterpillar image from the book. So now we have these on both sides, and that's just going to go into our belly band. Then I also printed these. These are called jewelry holders, and I printed them at 100% on 200 GSM white cardstock. And I wanted to use one of those for this paper bag that I have. So this is the bottom half, and I'm cutting that open so that I can put something inside. And I'm going to make this half circle opening again, and I'm going to glue one of those images on top. And since this video is getting so long, I am next going to show you a flip through of the whole thing, what it looked like once everything was done. So I hope you enjoy that. Okay, so let's do a quick flip through of the final product. As you've seen, I have taken out these charms that I have added. I mean, this is so adorable, but I just had the feeling it wasn't really working for me with this journal. So instead, I added a bunch of paper clips with just some fabric that I tore up and attached to paper clips. I have some sticking out here as well and some tags, and I think that just works a lot better. I have also made this closure just by punching a hole and inserting an eyelet with my crocodile, and then tying the sari silk ribbon that I originally had tied around here around these two to then tie up and form a closure. Putting the ribbon back here is not practical, although it's very pretty, but it's really bulky, and then when you try to work in it or write on it, it's just in the way. So I'd rather have this flat, simple knot here, and then to have it laying flat. So I'll give you this very quick flip through. Here I just added a top loading tuck spot up there. This is Tim Holtz memoranda paper, and I added this little card. This is from the original book, from the Alice in Wonderland book that I showed you. This illustration, and then here it actually flips this way. It's just one of those stamps from the stamp set, and yeah, glued that on with some cardstock. So this is of course the original paper from Tina from the kit, from the journal kit. This is a journaling card or tag that I made. This is an image from a mushroom book, and I just added this cute image, which is actually the same one as on the cover but shrunken down, and I love how she's standing on the mushroom. In the back is some journaling space, and there's a Alice in Wonderland stamp here, but it's so faint that if you wanted to, you could just write over it. And that's just attached with a golden paper clip with a piece of fabric tied around it. Then this is just a little collage. I made several collages throughout the book, so this is again from the kit. Another collage from the kit, and I always try to include some words from the book. And so here, for example, it says, "You're thinking about something, my dear, and that makes me forget to talk." So I always kind of try to pick something that kind of makes sense. And this is also from the book. This is really, really cute. So this is Draw Your Own. And it says here, Lewis Carroll features all sorts of strange and interesting creatures in Alice's adventures in Wonderland and through the looking glass, such as the Bandersnatch, the Mock Turtle, the Gryphon, and the grinning Cheshire Cat. Can you draw your own fantastical creature here? So if you want to, you could draw something fun. If not, you can just maybe cover this and do whatever you want to do on that page. These are, again, of course, the original pages from Tina. Here I made a belly band with a snippet roll that I have made, and I have a video on how to make these. I will link that below for you. So I just cut off a piece, made a belly band into it, stuck one of Tina's images on it as like a focal point, and then I included an original book page image where you can journal on the back. These are just more of Tina's cute images that you can use as little journaling cards. They're stuck here on this top loading tuck spot. More of that here. This is again from the book. I cut this out because I thought it was really cute, and it actually makes sense. You can read it. Here I made, you've seen me make this in the video, and I just closed it with, again, one of these paper clips, and I included, so here's the writing space, and here I included one of the images with some writing space on the back, and I just put, like, I sandwiched a piece of my baking paper in the middle before I glued it, so it has this rough edge, and I kind of like that. This is of course one of the tickets from Tina. Again, the original pages. Here you saw me glue in this pocket, and I just added one of Tina's large tags and added some fabric on the top, has journaling space on the back. This you saw, this is one of the larger images that are showing up as in a frame on the website, and I decided to shrink these down to 45%, and then I sewed around them with some pink zigzag stitching to make a pocket on this page. And inside are again original book pages, and these are some pages from the glossary, so they explain some of the terms used in the book, which I think is really cool to have. So those go in here. Those are from Tina's kit. This of course we made, and what I did was I strengthened these cards. I backed it with my 200 GSM cardstock to make nice journaling cards. This is another little collage I did with one of Tina's images. This is again one of these A4 printables that I shrunk down to 45%, again with the stitching all around, and inside it houses more of the original book pages. In this time we have here a quiz. So there's 4 pages here of quiz pages. No, there's actually 3 pages, sorry. And the answers are here as well. So that's kind of fun to do. If you're an Alice in Wonderland fan, that is perfect. Here's a little tuck spot. We made that on the video. Here's another tuck spot. I added this Wonderland from the book. And there's another journaling card. This time I backed this with one of the things that was in the Your Creative Studio box. Another original book page image, and this one, these are also original book pages, and they have a word search here, so that's fun as well. So it gives you some words and you can search for them here. I think that's fun to do. I always loved doing these, like on airplanes and stuff when I was a kid. So these are again the original kit pages. This I think you haven't seen me add this page, this little card, and again I backed it so you have some journaling space here as well. This you've seen me do. I think you've also seen me do this little bookmark. But what I did add, I'll put that in later. What I did add is I added from the book another passage here about how Alice is saying that she is open up like a large telescope, and here is that original book page image. Here's another little collage where I used my distress stain as this is the wild honey, as a kind of like a background to make him stand out more. Here's the paper bag, and I think we did this on camera, and I put in this card. This is also from one of the sets, and I added this little tab on top, journaling space in the back. Another little collage for you here. This is also one of the kit images. Here, this we did on camera as well. Little tuck spot here. Here we have the envelope, and on this side I just put another original book page with some of the writing. And on the other side, we did this envelope together, and I added, this is an original image from the book, and then I added this from the kit, and yeah, this one has some stamping on the back as well, just for fun. Let's go over there. That later. Here we have the other side of the paper bag. So I added this image and some fabric ruffle. And inside we have this, and I just stamped Alice here on a tab, has journaling space on the back. This is again another one of those A4 printables with the sewing around it. And inside we have some more original book page. This is again from the glossary with some explanations of some terms. Another belly band here with another one of Tina's images there. And in here we have another original book page image with some writing space here and a little stamp, Alice in Wonderland little stamp there. Another little stamp is here. Then this one we made on camera. Really love this image. This is from Tina's kit. And inside I added a little collage here with Tina's image, and again the Wild Honey Distress Stain journaling space on the back. Some stamping here with my Alice stamp set. Another journaling card here. We made this tuck spot together. There's a little journaling card there. Then I just added this. This is from one of the bookmarks. I just cut this off and added some fabric on the back. Another fabric ruffle on this little page. Made a little fabric pocket here. Added this tag with some text from the book. Added this fabric tab and added one of Tina's images. Again, journaling space on the back with some light stamping so that you can write over it if you want. Another little collage here. This is another journaling card. Again, originally from original text from the book, and one of Tina's images cut out from, I think, one of her tags. Journaling on the back with another Allison stamp there. Attached with one of these paper clips. Here I just attached another one of the glossary pages and one of the images from the book. Here's another little collage with Tina's image, some fabric there. Here I made a pocket with one of the book passages. I think this is one of the poems it had, and I made a little journaling card here with Tina's images, some napkin there, and journaling space on the back. And this one you've seen me make on camera. This is again original book page, and I wanted to leave this beautiful image on the back using Tina's tickets here. Another pocket, you've seen me make this. I just added the topper here and added some more original book page poem. Then I made this little journaling card here with journaling space on the back, attached it with another paper clip. And in the back here, I added a little pocket. I cut out this Alice in Wonderland from one of the images. And in it, I put this mini journal, which this image is also on Tina's site. And has this little cute brad as a closure. This came from a Happy Mail, and I just closed it with this embroidery thread. I stitched it with a 3-hole binding, and there's just a few pages inside. I backed it with the Tim Holtz memoranda paper, and it's just some stamping and just a few pages inside, just for fun. This is from Your Creative Studio. Yeah, so that's what that looks like, and that tucks in there. And then there's the back. So that is the little journal, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you tried to make one. No matter if you use this theme or another theme, I think these little journals are so fun to make. So I'm going to give away this Alice in Wonderland journal, and the rules to enter are: you have to be subscribed to my channel, you have to like this video, and leave a comment, any comment, preferably a nice one. The deadline to enter is Monday, May 5th at 12 noon Central European Time, and a winner will be announced in my video on Friday, May 8th. So I hope you enjoyed this, and hope to see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye!